Hey everybody, I just wanted to take a few minutes to do this final exam video for the fall semester of Public Speaking 13-15. Just take a few minutes to discuss what I learned this semester and talk about some of the speeches that I gave, and this is an overview and a summary of what I learned and moving forward how I'm going to use it. First off, my most effective speech. Um, the story speech was all right. I told the story. Obviously, that's the hardest one to mess up because you lived it. But sometimes it's the hardest one to tell, I guess, for me. I'm not a great storyteller, but uh, the stories sometimes for me are the hardest ones to get out because you haven't really researched anything. You're just going based off of your memory, and sometimes the memory gets kind of blurry. But um, my most the best speech that I gave, in my opinion, was not my story speech. My first informative speech was kind of iffy. I didn't really do much research. I just kind of gave it on a whim and hoping for a decent grade, hoping to meet the requirements. Um, the second informative speech was probably my most well-rounded speech. I discussed bale grazing for cattle. I did a lot of research on that. Websites and a couple different and a magazine that I got from a cattle rancher that I know, and I feel like I was able to research and really give some good information on that. Um, the last speech I gave was the persuasive speech. It might not have been very persuasive, but I did it. That was the funnest speech for me to research. I'm a history buff, and I talked about the Revolutionary War, and I found myself spending a whole lot of wasted time just researching and watching videos and documentaries on the Revolutionary War, and I wasted a lot of good time. Let's just say that every time I have a history thing, I do that. But my best speech, in my opinion, was the second informative speech about bale grazing. A speech that one of my classmates did that I thought was really hit me well, and I liked it, was the one by Charnay Gross, Char, as she would rather be called, about millennials. Not only because I am, in that age bracket. Maybe she said it was 24 to 35. Not quite to 24, but I think I'm in that range, of the millennial age. She was confident in her delivery. Her speaking rate was good. I really liked that she wasn't holding any notes. I don't know if she could see notes in the background, off camera somewhere, but that she could go through a 4 minute, 5 minute speech without any notes. It's very hard to do. Because when you get up there in front of people, you begin to, everything begins to jumble up a little bit, and you kind of forget what you're talking about, and you go blank. And to not have any notes in your hands, it not only helps with your speaking, technique, and not having to look down every time, but it looks better to me, and it looks like you know what you're talking about. And I really liked that. Her enthusiasm was great. It had me interested the whole time. I really liked it. In my story speech, I used the time order pattern, chronological pattern. I just wanted to tell the story in the way that it happened, the exact chronological events, the pattern of the events, and tell it in order. Who wants a story that's out of order? You don't want to know the ending before you know the beginning, right? I tried to explain in my informative speeches. I don't know if I conquered that or was able to do that, but that's what I was trying to do, is explain the Texan church thing that we're using at our church, and explain bale grazing, the bale grazing concept. I was trying to explain that to my audience. Hopefully it worked, not only for you guys in the class, but for the people that I was actually talking to. I used Monroe's Motivated Sequence, which is a series. I have it written down here so I don't forget. Monroe's Motivated Sequence, a series of steps designed to propel a listener toward accepting the speaker's proposition, and that's page 301 in our textbook. I don't know if I did that very well, but I tried to grab the attention of my audience by saying how important the Revolutionary War was to our country and try to stress the importance of it to kind of garner their attention towards the rest of my speech. The need, I really didn't present a need. The persuasive speech was probably one of my weaker speeches. I really didn't persuade. I really didn't think about when I submitted a topic. I really didn't think about trying to persuade. I don't know why. That's why it's a persuasive speech. But I tried to pull it off. Hopefully, hopefully I got a good grade. But really didn't present a need. But the satisfaction that I presented was, don't forget, like, please don't forget the sacrifice that those Revolutionary War people, the heroes of the war, made. Don't know if that's really what the motivated sequence is and if I satisfied that, but that's what I came up with and what I was trying to do. I feel like my last speech, I was able to project well and make good eye contact. I feel like I was able to project my voice. I was in a small room, so projection wasn't really an issue, but I really feel like I was able to project well. My eye contact was better than in the beginning. My next point, in my opinion, I feel like my ability to present the speeches is where I really improved. Eye contact especially is what I was just talking about. The textbook says that you should look at your audience 95% of the time. That is a lot of your speech, to look at them 95% of the time. You really have to know what you're doing, know your notes, know your information to be able to do that. And I feel like throughout the course of this semester, I was able to make better eye contact. Rather, as in the beginning, I was stuck to my notes, stuck to looking at the camera, stuck to looking at the wall behind the people that I was talking to, not trying to make contact because I was so nervous. But I feel like in the end, I was able to make better eye contact. I could have done way better on my visual aid. I'm a guy, and for most guys, for me, for sure, visual aid and creativity is not my thing. So I found myself being worried about the actual speech and the words of the speech and the research that I did, especially in the last two speeches. I really lost sight of the visual aid. I did put pictures on a PowerPoint and turn my computer around where everybody could see pictures, but that's it. I really didn't have great visual aid, so that's something I could work on. Personal and professional goals. As of now, I really don't know what my professional career is going to be. I really haven't got anything singled out or picked out, but I do have personal. I really would like to be able to present well, public speak. I'd really like to be able to speak well and do that. And at church, preaching or teaching a class or Bible study, that's really where I could use it. Information I learned will help me be able to help someone else learn. If I know what I'm doing and I'm able to, from what I learned, be able to speak and help somebody else learn, that would be great. I think all the information will just help me fine-tune my public speaking skills so I can speak better every time I speak, get better every time I speak in the future. Every time an opportunity presents itself, get better, take advantage, and hopefully what I learned, I can be able to incorporate it and get better as we go on. So thank you guys for a great semester and listening to my sometimes awful speeches, and hopefully you guys have a great Christmas break. Thank y'all.